A new title update for Madden 26 just came out of nowhere today. EA Sports dropped it unannounced, and they did officially put out some notes for this update, which we're going to go over in this video. Now, typically this year, EA had been putting out notes for title updates the day before they go live. They would put out an entire blog on their website, and then they would let you know everything that was going to be changing about the game, and then the update would roll out the next morning. Well, for today's update, they didn't do that. This one was kind of a surprise. It is a bit of a smaller update. It's not anything too crazy, but they did address a number of things in the game, and they even also addressed something that wasn't listed in their notes, which is kind of typical for EA. They don't always list everything, but we tend to find other stuff that was changed once the update rolls out. Now, if you are new to the channel and you never want to miss out on any of the important updates for this game, make sure to subscribe and turn the bell icon on. That way you never miss any of these videos when they go live. We'd like to hit 700K subscribers really soon, so if everybody watching just subscribed, we can hit those numbers in a few days. So let's take a look at the Madden 26 title update for December 11th. Now, keep in mind, we're going to be getting a much bigger update probably within the next, I would say, 10 days to 2 weeks, because we're about due for another big update. This was kind of one of the smaller ones. They sometimes slip in between two bigger updates to address a number of issues, which is always good, because if they can get it fixed quicker, why should we have to wait, an extra couple of weeks? So this update definitely did address some gameplay stuff. So the first thing here is they fixed an issue where defenders with KO abilities would trigger the ability, but no knockout would occur when landing a hit during a catch and a successful knockout was rolled. And they did add a dev note to this that says you may still see KO abilities light up on some break on ball animations without a knockout occurring. This is expected. KO abilities can light up when a defender makes a break on the ball, but a knockout still requires a successful knockout roll. With this update, whenever a KO roll is successful and contact is made during the catch, the ball will be knocked out regardless of the tackle type. So if you know anything about the KO abilities, the last few years they had been very overpowered to the point where, people that played Ultimate Team especially would put these on as many players as possible. And even if you played Regs, you would try to use teams that had these, or if you played Franchise, you would try to acquire players that could get KO abilities, because basically whenever a guy with a KO ability would be near a receiving threat, whether it be a receiver, a tight end, whatever the case, if they were within that kind of window and would make contact with you when you were attempting a catch, it would knock the ball out almost every time, and it was such an overpowered ability. Well, this year they reworked abilities, across the board, making them not guaranteed, which was a big thing, meaning even if you were in the vicinity with a knockout, it didn't guarantee that you would knock the ball out. But with KO abilities specifically, it just kind of seemed like they almost never worked, so they had to do some balancing here to make sure that there was still more of a chance of actually knocking that ball out, because the ability would be triggering, but the knockout would not occur when the dice roll of knocking the ball out was actually rolled. So now you should see the KO ability be a little bit more effective than it was before. However, it shouldn't be as overpowered as it was the last couple of years. Continuing on here, it says they addressed an issue where you could not change the coverage shells on the following formations: the nickel 2-4 load double mug, which is in the Bucs defensive playbook; the nickel 3-3 load double mug, which is in the Broncos defensive playbook; the nickel load double mug, which is in the Saints defensive playbook; and the nickel 2-4 load mug, also in the Saints defensive playbook. So as many of you know, last year in the game, they incorporated coverage shells into formations, which basically means you could set a certain type of coverage shell for that formation. So you could say that I always want the coverage shell to be cover 2, for example, and no matter what coverage you came out of that formation, the defense would line up like it's a cover 2. Or maybe you wanted them to line up to make it look like a cover 3 every time. Or you could switch it from play to play. It really just depends on what you want to do. But basically, this would help you disguise whatever coverage you were in versus an opponent that was good at reading coverages based on how players line up. And with these certain formations this year, for whatever reason, you could not change the coverage shells within them, which makes them a lot less effective, because now that this is like a staple in the game, most people like to line up in the same coverage shell every time so that every defense they're running has the same look, which makes it just that much harder on your opponent. So now these formations have fixed that issue. Now we're going to continue on with some more important updates from this title update, but really quickly I want to shout out today's video sponsor, Underdog. If you like sports and you like winning money, then you've got to be on Underdog playing their pick'em game. Basically, all you do is pick higher or lower on player stats, and if they hit, you can win some big money. And when you sign up with my code RAY, R-A-Y, they're going going to give you $75 in free bonus cash after you play just $5. So you get $75 free for simply just playing 5, and you can't beat that. They're going to also give you a free play when you sign up as well. So for example, if you want to sign up and play for this week's NFL Sunday slate, they're going to give you Jonathan Taylor to get a single yard. That means all you need to do is get 1 yard, and that's it. You win. And no matter when you sign up, even if it's weeks from now, there's always going to be a free play just like this for you to take advantage of. And once again, with my code RAY, you're going to get $75 free when you play just 5, and you just can't beat that. It's free money. Continuing on with today's title update, here's something else they addressed. They fixed the auto motion animation for the wing tight end and the Eagles single back deuce. The play is motion power O. There was an issue with the auto motion before this, so they have went in and addressed that. Not a really big deal unless you're someone that uses the Eagles playbook. Maybe you've run into this issue, but if you have, it is now fixed. They also addressed an issue in the Bears gun wing flex offset weak. The play is motion PA fake screen scissors. The ball would not snap when the play was flipped for whatever reason. And sometimes it's just random plays like this that for whatever reason, if you flip them or you audible to them, there'll be like some type of issue where the ball won't get snapped, or, you know, a number of issues. We've seen this over the years. So this is a very specific one, again, like the previous one. If you use this play, maybe you've run across this issue, but they have now went in and fixed that. They also addressed an issue preventing passes to the tight end on the Steelers single back bunch X nasty play, the PA sprint halfback flat. Again, another very specific play. If you use that playbook and that play, maybe you've run into this, but they have addressed it. Now that was all that was listed from Madden on today's title update. Again, it was mainly just some gameplay fixes, the most important ones being the first two that we went over, the KO abilities and the coverage shells for certain formations. Now there was another massive thing that changed in this update that was not mentioned in the notes, and that is that you can no longer hot route on certain popular RPO plays. Now when the game launched, they purposely made it to where you could hot route on RPOs this year, which was really a good change. So if you had an RPO and a receiver was on a slant, maybe you wanted to put him on a drag or a streak or a post, you could do that, and you still can in the game with most RPO plays. However, there were certain RPOs that they did not let you hot route, a very popular one being the gun bunch tight end RPO alert bubble, where you could hand it off to the running back for inside zone, or you could throw a bubble screen to one of the bunch receivers. It is the best RPO in the game because the screen is so good. Now, if you came out in this play out of the huddle, you would not be able to hot route on it because it was not intended to be one of the RPOs that would let you hot route. But people found out pretty quickly that if you audibled to this play, and there's some other ones like this where there's different bubble screens as well, but this is just the most popular one. If you audibled to it, you could then take the guy that was on the bubble screen and you could hot route him. And what a lot of people would do is they would hot route him to a flat, which made the RPO even that much more effective. And this is something that was very popular in the competitive scene. If you played online, you've probably ran into this. Well, after today's update, whatever plays that were like that in the game where you couldn't hot route on them originally, but if you audible to them, it would allow you to hot route, they've now patched that. So the gun bunch tight end, the trio Y flex, there's some other formations as well that people did this out of. If you now audible to those plays, you can no longer hot route those bubble screens, which is a pretty big fix because, like I said, this was a very big meta thing online and you can no longer do it. Now, I looked through the update to try to see if I could find any new equipment or any new face scans. I didn't see anything. I believe this was just mainly a gameplay update, but we should have another big update coming, like I said, within the next 10 days to 2 weeks, hopefully. We should be seeing some more face scans. We definitely should be getting some more equipment added. There could also be some more gameplay stuff that's addressed in those updates as well. In terms of franchise mode and superstar mode, not really too sure if we're going to see too much there outside of maybe some stability improvements because they haven't really been touching that a lot so far this year. And of course, there will be a couple other updates that will roll out after that as well. We probably have maybe 2 to 3 more updates until they're completely on to Madden 27. So we do still have a few more in there where we'll get some good stuff added to the game and some stuff addressed. But for today, that is all you need to know about the small middle of the road update that we received earlier this morning. Now, if you play Madden 26 and you want to know what the absolute best settings are to make sure that you win most of your games, make sure you check out this video right here on the screen.